Oh, I've made the cardinal error that happens on so many par threes across the golfing world. Today I'm going to help you to play par threes better. Let's take a look at how you're going to do that. So thanks to my friends at ShotScope, I've been provided some data on what average golfers are doing when playing par threes, and I'm going to take that data and give you some insights on how you can maybe change technique or how you're managing your game when we get to par threes to help you score better. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is green success and how that means how many greens we are hitting. And as we can see here, if we were to look at what a 15 handicapper does, so middle of the road, we would see that from 100 to 150 yards, only 37% of greens are hit. When we jump up to 150 to 200, which is round about what the average par three is, it sits in that bracket, we get to 20%. And if we go above 200 yards, which is a long par three, we see it plummet to 7%. And you'll see some other numbers here for the other handicap brackets. And even when we're down at a zero handicapper, from 150 to 200 yards, only 53% of greens are hit. Now, why could that be? Well, one thing that I think that we should start doing more, and we probably overlook this when we actually get to par threes, is should we use a tee or not? I took 8 amateurs out for a video yesterday, and 2 of them, when we got to the tee, simply just went, yeah, that'll do. Now, if you've got the option to use a tee peg, I think you should be using one, but make sure that you're pegging it up correctly, because what I see a lot of amateurs doing, they get down, they're using an iron, this is as well, and we see that there is a big gap between the grass and the golf ball. So if you were to hit this shot now and you made a good golf swing and you're hitting down on the golf ball, unfortunately you're going to catch the top half of the golf club. Now that isn't going to help us, because when we hit here, that's going to kick the club back, it's going to add loft, it's not going to come off as quick, it's going to come up short, hence why greens would be missed. When we're doing it, we want to peg it down so it's literally just popping up above the turf there. So as we get in, we've now got it sat down, and if I make good contact, we can see that that golf ball is now going to catch the middle of the golf club. It's going to be to the middle to the lower half. So just make sure, it seems so simple, but it's one, like I say, I saw a couple of balls thrown down onto the ground. If you get the chance to peg it up on the fairway, I'm sure you would. Give yourself the opportunity to actually get the best strike, but don't hamper it by having it too high. So secondly, it's all about club selection and also where you're hitting the shot, because if I zap this pin now, we're on the 16th at the Duke's, gorgeous golf hole. The flag today is 189 yards. I've been coming here all year. In April, I stood on this tee and I hit a 9-iron. It was about 22 degrees. It was slightly downwind. It was a lovely day. I was feeling fresh. I didn't have on my thermal jacket. I didn't have a bob hat on. It was a totally different scenario as to what I faced today. 189 yards down the hill is playing a little less. It actually takes 3 yards off for me because of the slope, but also the temperature's changed. So that ball isn't going to travel as far, and these 8 amateurs that I took out yesterday, we played a par 3, the 8th hole, and only 2 golf balls found the green. The rest were short, so 6 people hit it short, and that was from 116 yards that hole was playing. All down to club selection. So what I would suggest doing, if you have a laser, if you're lasering the pin, don't just get sucked into, okay, well the flag is 189. Have a look a little bit beyond it. If you're using the watches, you've got the front, the middle and the back. I'd always opt to play to the middle, to the back yardage. I also said about where should I hit it on the green. If we look at what's on the watch, and as we see as we look down the hole, there's an awful lot of bunkers on this golf hole. There's 6 bunkers. But what I can also notice is that from the left hand side to the right hand side of the golf hole, the land is moving that way. So if I were to hit my golf ball down the right, the chances are it's going to bounce right away from the green. Now, what you might be able to do, and what can help you hit better golf shots, instead of just getting the yardage for the flag and aiming directly at it, you could pick a spot now and say, I want to hit this ball more up the left, because even with a miss strike, like we saw from my shot that I hit at the start of the video, it's found the dance floor because I played more down the left and let the lie of the land work in my favour. It might mean that you're going a little bit away from the pin. You might have a severe bank on the right hand side of the green, the pin's tight right, you maybe want to fade it in, but if you use the bank and let it run to middle left, you've still hit the green. So make sure the first thing that we're doing, you're pegging it upright, you're choosing the correct club. I hit 7-iron at the start of the video. I'm going to go all the way up to 6-iron now, and like I said, in summer it was a 9-iron for me. I'm going to pick the right spot. I'm going to go down the left, because even if I don't hit this one fantastically, it's still got a chance to work towards there, and that's just one simple way that we can start to actually have a little bit more green success. Oh, another cardinal sin. I tried working it back towards the flag and I've ended up in the bunker. Now, if we were to take a look at what some of the proximity to the hole is for an average golfer, I think you're going to be quite surprised by these numbers, because as we can see here, when we have a 15 handicapper, their proximity on a 100 to 150 yard hole is only 57 feet. When we get from 150 to 200, we see it being 92 feet, and then it goes to 130 feet when we get over 200 yards, and again you'll see the other stats there. So I think we have a problem, or a little bit of an issue, when we get on par threes, that we say, well, this is the easy golf hole, this is a let up for me, it's a shorter hole, I'm probably going to be using a mid to long iron maybe, it's not that par 5 that's over 500 yards and I feel like I've got to slog my way up it. Here I could hit the green with pretty much all the clubs in my bag, and then we get suckered into aiming directly at flags and forgetting again what is around us. So what I would suggest for this, to try and understand firstly that the proximity for the average golfer probably isn't as high as you would think, or low as you would think. You probably would think, oh, 15 handicapper from 100 and 150 yards, yeah, it's probably 30 feet, 40 feet on average. See, it's nearly at 60. So we've got to give ourselves a little bit of a break. We've also got to switch our minds on as well. As I said earlier, a lot of bunkers on this hole, 6 of them are surrounding the green. We've also got today a fairly generous flag, but it's slightly towards the right hand side, and I aimed a little bit left thinking, oh, my fade will work. One thing I didn't take into account though is, what is the wind doing? Because again, when I played here April time, it was straight downwind, really hard, pushing the ball towards the hole. This time it's pushing the golf ball away from the flag, so getting close is going to be a hard shot. What we need to start doing now as average golfers is thinking to ourselves, how do I get this golf ball to the middle of the green, not the flag, because generally, with it being a par 3, the greens will be a little bit smaller. They're not as big as some of the par 4 greens, and they're not as big as some of the par 5 greens. So if we do actually hit the middle of the green more frequently, our proximity actually won't be too bad. But sometimes we get hunkered, like I say, into I've got to hit it close because it's an easy hole. So when you're on the tee next time, make sure it's pegged up correctly. Let's make sure that as we're actually doing this, you say to yourself, how do I work this golf ball to the middle of the green? And don't fall into the common trap of, if you are a member at a golf club, you say, the 16th hole for me at the Dukes, it's always my 7-iron. You've got to play it as if it's the first time you've ever played the hole. Ask yourself the question, how do I get this golf ball to the middle of this green? So for me today, I know now, it's working from left to right. I know the flag's towards the back, that's fine. If I hit it to the middle, I've got about a 30-foot putt, which would be really good. I know the wind's coming off the left. I know there's bunkers to avoid. So here I've taken a club that's going to get me past the front of the green. It's going to get me up towards the back. I'm now going to allow for this wind to take the golf ball. I'm trying to work it onto the middle of the green. I'm allowing my natural fade to come in. If you're a drawer, I'd maybe be aiming at the middle to try and let it be held against the wind, but I'm allowing for a little bit of fade here. And as I do this now, hopefully by following these little tips, I get a shot that should reach the green. So, the third and final thing that I want you to do as well, I've said that par threes we switch off a little bit. We've got to give ourselves an actual understanding that they are hard holes, because as we look at the stats here for what the average score is, we're working up towards 3.5 on average. We're working over that 3, so pars sometimes are hard to come by on par threes, and as we see, as we get up to the higher handicappers and the distance is getting longer, we see that 5 is actually the average score for the higher handicapper. So give yourself a little bit of a break. It might not be easy to get a 3. Don't try and force a 3. So many times things like the postage stamp at Royal Troon, where we saw the Open at this year, a very, very hard hole, but it's only 105 yards at one point it was playing, so you almost automatically say, I must make 3 here because of the length. Give yourself a break. 4 might be a good score, but if we can adopt some of these tips, we might see that our average scores are starting to come down. Don't go flag hunting. Try and get it pegged up correctly and find the middle of the green more frequently, and you should see that those scores are starting to come down. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's going to help you. Check out some of the ShotScope stuff as well that you'll see linked in the description. There's loads of little drills and stats and sheets that will help you actually improve your game just by adopting a few of their little tactics. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.